The thing is that this world works on sacrifices. You sacrifice your time. You take it away from spending it with your family to go and work at a job where you can earn an income. You sacrifice on eating all the foods that would be tasty for your taste buds in order to have something healthy. You sacrifice on spending your time off the couch to work out, to get stronger. Everything and anything requires a cost. That cost might be well worthwhile to pay, as long as you know what you're paying for and what you're getting. The thing is that we as a society, especially in the Western Hemisphere, we have been misled on getting something for nothing. It's the age-old devil's promise. You go into the woods, right, and you meet this little guy, a leprechaun or something, and it promises you something for nothing. And everyone keeps on falling for that trap over and over and over again, even though we have it in all our fairy tales, even though we know it in our heart. We still think that this time it's different, that this time we can get away with it. And we have been led to this end, really, for probably about 3 generations now, that it's okay to give up on your economy, on your producing capabilities and ship it out to the old world, because we can have a service-based economy. And then the service-based economy can be shipped out to India or some other place, and they can run our services because we'll just live off of something else. And we'll live off of credit and ever-expanding credit. And eventually that leprechaun in the world, in the woods that promised you the goods that you had so far, there will be a time to pay him, to pay the piper, so to speak. And we are getting to that point, and time is running out. The thing is that even though we know this by heart, we know it in our own lives, in our own investment strategies, we still think we can get away. We still think that we can get all the convenience of Gmail for free, and there's no cost to it. That there's no cost, to using free products, to using free content, free entertainment, that there's no cost to it. But there is a cost. There's a cost, because usually anything that's for free is just, the cost is hidden. I would rather know the cost and then make an informed decision on choosing the product, the service, the investment, the time, the job, whatever it is, instead of having a free label on it and then not knowing what the cost is. So what is the cost? What will be the cost of all this prosperity that came from shipping everything out to the old world? What do you think? What are we producing? What are we doing? What are we consuming? If you take a look at any product in the US on the Walmart or Amazon or anything, nothing. We practically don't produce anything. Yet your house is full of stuff, your closet is full of stuff. Everything is full of stuff. But if I would say this lawnmower is made in the US, it costs triple what you're used to paying, would you pay it? Of course not. Why? It doesn't make sense to pay it. Why does it make sense to pay it? It doesn't make sense to pay it because you want the money for something else. If you look around your house, you have a house full of garbage. From nose hair trimmers to massage whatever things that you picked up at Walmart at the third aisle that you never even cared about. That is what has taken your money away from purchasing a lawnmower that's made in the US. Now, I don't know any brands of lawnmowers that's made in the US, but I can guarantee if that would have been properly made, it would have lasted maybe 2 decades, 3 decades. Well, you don't want that. You know, in the end, you want cheap and fast, and it's okay if you have to repurchase that in 2 years, in 3 years, and it's going into the dump, right? And it has led to consumerism. Don't confuse it with capitalism. Capitalism is just you being in control of the capital, how and where and on what you spend it. But with that comes freedom. And with that freedom, you chose consumerism. And that is what we have now. Now, this will result in one thing and one thing only. A K-shaped recovery. A K-shaped or a bifurcation of society, where those who have more shall be given unto them, and those who have not, even what they don't have, shall be taken away. The reason for that is simple. It's inflation. If somebody owned a $2 million house or $2 million property, and inflation has doubled that, they now have $4 million worth of property. Of course, it's a number, but the bank will give credit, and so they have access to $4 million worth of credit. If you started out with a $200,000 house, now that house is worth maybe $400,000. You and he both have doubled your credit worthiness, I should say. But after the next doubling, he will have $8 million and you will have $800,000. Do you see the problem now? While in relation, in ratio, you all went up in the same rate. The difference is now more than $7 million worth of credit worthiness that you and he has. And that guy is technically, you know, upper middle class. If you talk about the billionaire class, how much they have made in shipping out the producing capabilities of the United States out to the third world, we're gonna see huge chunks of population kind of be in the stratosphere. 1%, 2%, you name it, it doesn't matter. And once the so-called boomers who actually own some of or most of their houses will die off, the rest of the population will just fall out. There's nowhere to go. There's nothing to do. There's nowhere to go. You will get your UBI. And that is so you don't revolt. And will be enough for food and shelter because the machines will take care of it. But you are unwanted now. In this K-shaped recovery, in this 2-layer society, you are the unwanted. You are the unwashed masses. Out of pity, they will put you in zoos where you will be fed and you will be sheltered. But what happens in zoos? What happens in zoos with animals? There's always a problem. If you ever know or someone who works at a zoo, the biggest problem is reproduction. Animals in captivity do not reproduce. That is exactly what they want from you. In the UBI captivity, you'll have some freedom, you'll have some digital experiences that will be paid for you. But you're essentially in a big prison. The best type of prison is where you don't even know that you're in one. We have domesticated ourselves to this point, and now the bifurcation of society is happening right before our eyes. There's no way out of it if you don't do anything about it. There's a couple of things, there's a couple of outcomes that we can expect. One is, of course, a so-called revolution, which will be, paid for and bought by the same people who just want the new system. So you get a more comfortable life in the zoo. That is it. The other possibility is you going free. Do not participate. As long as that happens in small numbers, I'm sure it will be allowed. You will be allowed to live your life, somewhere off remote, as long as you don't go against the system, as long as you don't piss in the wind. There will be people like that. And you can, scream at the sky and, nothing will change. A third possibility is you slowly start to fill out the middle. So we used to have a pyramid scheme or pyramid system of society where there were top echelons who were born into wealth, the controllers, then the mid-level management, right? That's being replaced now by AI. Then the people who actually provided goods and services, and so on, lower tier, and lower tier goods and services, cheaper, and the bottom was always the people who kind of struggled. Now is being pushed apart, where the middle is being emptied out. How do we fill the middle? Unfortunately, the way to do that is one way and one way only. You have to serve the billionaire class. You have to come up with services, classes of services that they want, and they are willing to pay for big dollars for it, right? May that be stupid expensive jewelry, may that be yachts that you're working on, you're replacing, you're fixing, or digital experiences that you're providing for them. And they pay for it, and then you, after making a yacht or expensive jewelry, you can spend that money on some other stuff that hopefully down the line someone else will do it, for you. That is how it used to be. But now you have to position yourself. Which way? Are you going to be a UBI serf, a zoo animal? Or are you going to be somewhere out free in the woods, hopefully not bumping into the system too much, so you can live out there? Or are you gonna be these service class people who serve the rich? These are the only three options I see. Now the good thing is you probably won't have to choose. It's not going to be a hard border between them. You'll be able to slip and slide from one or the other. But this is it. This is it. You have to make up your mind. Where are you positioning yourself? The only way we can fill out the middle is to come up with services and come up with items that you can sell to the rich. While it looks stupid to you and completely useless, you can actually sell it to them and make a lot of money. The thing is that even in software, if you take a look at the jobs, the only jobs are in software or like Oracle, Nvidia, and maybe Microsoft, but it's no longer like junior level, developers or software engineers. It's going to be very high talented people, or, the defense industry or something like that are filling in very specific spots. The rest is going to be AI, and the rest is going to be, software, producing more software and producing hardware and producing machines. So that is kind of the top pyramid layer, the bottom of the top pyramid layer that I'm talking about. You're providing services, goods for the people who actually print the money into existence. Is there another way out? Maybe, maybe not, but there's a way how you don't have to participate in this system. There's a way how you don't have to participate in this system. And that is what we're going to be exploring in the next few weeks. Good luck, everyone.